Welcome, everyone, to Rewrite Your Future, Reset, Renew, and Refresh in 2021. I'm Christina Katz, and my role right now is to introduce Kathy Kalesha. She will be our first speaker, and she began her career in corporate America in the hospitality industry, where she gave 31 years of service to her customers and employees. She spent the early years as a first-time manager, waiting for the perfect moment to participate in conversation, but feeling like an imposter, not deserving the position or the seat at the table, and apologizing every time she received accolades. She eventually became a successful and respected leader as a result of a lot of hard work, making valuable mistakes, and with mentorship and coaching of leaders who took her, or coaching from leaders who took her under their wing. She spent the last decade inspiring clients and audiences to get out of their own way and become confident, assertive leaders without the need to apologize. Please help me welcome Kathy Kalesha. Everybody wave.
Woot, woot. Thank you, Christina. Welcome, everyone. First question for you. Do you ever think when you hear a strategy or a technique or a suggestion to make a change or take an action that's going to help you save time or, get moving or repair a relationship, do you ever think, sounds interesting, but I know that I won't be able to do it. It's not going to work for me. Or I've tried and I can't take another failure. Or maybe you think, you know what? Just not going to try. It's not worth it. Do you ever think that? I know that for sure I've had those thoughts. And then I learned about something that can help me stop ignoring suggestions and ideas and tips and techniques that was put me in a position to be able to start welcoming them into my life. Now I'm a little bit seasoned, which is my code word for older. So it's taken me a number of years to figure some of these things out. And I am going to be the bearer of bad news here. If you've had those thoughts, you might actually have a fixed mindset in that particular area of your life where you weren't open to the ideas, suggestions, techniques, the love, this, the helpers in your life that are trying to give you some suggestions. And, I want to talk about this right now because that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be doing that for you. And I want to make sure that after this time with us, that you're open to trying again. So I learned this concept of having a fixed mindset or a growth mindset along my journey. And I think I learned about it, but then I read a book about it and it reconfirmed what I had already figured out on my own, which is why I want to share it with you so you don't have to wait as long as I did to figure this out. So there is something called a fixed mindset, which really means just what it says. We're fixed, we're stagnant, we're not growing. The growth mindset is, hey, we're willing to try, take risks, put effort in to make changes and grow. I want to give you an example of how this would look with a kid. So raise your hand if you have children or you're an aunt or uncle, you've ever seen a child. Okay, I think that covers everyone. So I want to put you in the mindset of a child around 2, 3, 4 years old drawing a picture, and you see this picture, and from a place of love, you're going to give them some accolades for their artwork. And you walk up and you go, oh my gosh, that is such a beautiful picture. You are such an amazing artist. Wow. I wish I could draw like you. What mindset in the chat do you think you're helping that child develop by saying, what an amazing artist you are? I wish I could draw like you. What mindset do you think you're setting them into? In the chat. So it's a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. So interesting. You're actually, by giving that type of accolades, you're putting them into a growth mindset because you are acknowledging their art as if being an artist is a gift. And being an artist is hard. It takes work and effort is mastery. So the way to put them in a growth mindset is to acknowledge the effort. Wow, I can see that you have put so much time and effort into practicing your art. Every time you draw a picture, it gets better and better. Keep doing that work. It is paying off. Wow, what a beautiful picture. So you recognize the effort that it took for the mastery instead of recognizing something that could be a gift given to them that maybe didn't take any work. That work that we put into our lives, that we've created the person we are today, that's that same effort and mastery that's going to help you create that next level and be the better than you are today tomorrow. So I want you to think about that. The book that I read that concreted this for me is called Mindset by Carol S. Dweck. So we have an interesting situation today. And so I want to do a little bit of introduction before we get into who was supposed to be our first speaker, which is LaShonda. You may have noticed she's not here. After we got all this set up, life got in the way. And LaShonda is at a funeral today. So in an effort to split herself in two, she pre-recorded a video for us, which we're going to show. Now, I do want to mention that I did not have the heart to tell her that she has a typo on her beautiful frame that she put around her amazing video. So after you notice that typo, please let it go because I couldn't ask her to redo this because she did this for us, for you. And we didn't want you to not hear from her. I work with her so much and she's such an inspiring, amazing woman. And she put this special talk together just for you today. So ignore the typo and give me one moment to start this.
It's not the events of our lives that shape us, but our beliefs as to what those events mean. Good morning and welcome to our Rewrite Your Future, Reset, Refresh, Renew 2021 workshop. My name is LaShonda Lee. I am the CEO and founder of Walk in Favor Life Coaching. I help women who struggle with getting unstuck discover resilience, own their brilliance, and live their lives authentically, free from fear, shame, or the need to apologize. I service and support high profile, high demand, and corporate executive women with thriving careers and businesses. And during our time together, I want to tackle the topic of overcoming beliefs. See, I was told whether you believe you can or whether you believe you cannot, you are right. So, with that in mind, if you are going to have a prosperous 2021, you must control what you believe. Because beliefs are essentially the assumptions that you make about yourself, others, and about the world that we live in. And so we all have these theories, these ideas, and explanations as to how things ought to be. In other words, we use our belief to anchor our expression, our understanding of the world around us. And so basically, your beliefs, yeah, they do form the foundation of your expectations. And these expectations, listen to me carefully, they help you better understand yourself. They help you better understand others and to better understand the world around you. They help you to feel more certain about your future, which actually makes you feel safe and secure. But you know what? What about when these beliefs no longer serve purpose in your life? Or when these beliefs become a hindrance as they are no longer compatible with your life or your life circumstances? See, the reality is your life has changed. However, it's possible your beliefs have remained constant. And if so, this is why you could be feeling stuck in the present. And so this topic is so important because, like I said, I help women who struggle with getting unstuck discover that resilience so that they can own their brilliance, because ultimately they want to live a life that is filled with happiness, success, and total fulfillment. See, I remember when I was suffering from limiting beliefs. When I was a young girl, I didn't really appreciate the skin that I was in. When I was younger, boys at school used to say, "You're so black, you cry coffee." Well, I didn't want to cry coffee, right? You don't want to cry coffee. And so I remember one day, one of my friends, she said, "LaShonda, I know how we can get light skinned." And I said, "Well, how do you get light skinned? Because I'm all for it." She said, "Every day, just put a little bleach in your bath water." Well, you and me both know that that was not a remedy. But at that point in time, I didn't know any better. I was a young girl, and all I knew is I did not want to be made fun over again. And so, guess what? I put that bleach in my bath water day in and day out. And needless to say, I never did get light skin, but I sure did get a lot of rashes. Okay. And I had to get some medicine to get those rashes off of my body. But I did not overcome that limiting belief until I got in high school. I carried it around so long. And I want to ask you, how many of you are carrying around a belief that is sabotaging you? And so today, I want to make sure that I can aid and assist you so that you can get from where you are to where you want to be. And so the first thing I want to talk about is how to identify the limiting beliefs. All right. So grab pen, grab paper, and let's go ahead and take these copious notes. Now, let's be clear. To achieve your goals, you must align your goals with your belief systems. However, that is probably where things really just break down for most people, I would say. And it's inevitably one of the main reasons why hopes and dreams never manifest into real and tangible results. Okay, can I be honest? Is it okay if I be honest? Many people are holding on to many limiting beliefs that are preventing them from moving forward. And that is why many people continue to indulge in self sabotaging behavior. And so, given all this, your very, very first steps to transforming your limiting beliefs comes down to identifying your limiting beliefs and how they are preventing you from moving forward. However, this process is not always simple or even straightforward. It will take a little insight. And so, in the moments that we have left, I want to walk you through some steps on identifying your existing limiting beliefs and how to prevent them from sabotaging your future. So, if you're ready, say I'm ready. All right. So, the first thing that you must do is figure out, what is it that you want? What do you want? That's your first step, is to figure out, what do you want? And these are your goals, your objectives, and the outcomes that you want to achieve. These are the things that, you've been working on for weeks, months, and even years, but for some reason or another, you've been unable to achieve them. Does that sound familiar? If your answer is yes, more than likely you are being held back because you probably have a set of limiting beliefs that are sabotaging your progress. Absolutely. And so, right now, the most important thing you can do is to clarify what it is that you want. So, let me give you 4 questions that you want to write down. Okay, yeah, write them in your notes. Okay, you want to ask yourself these questions, but you also want to answer them. The first question: what is it that I want? I know is easy to write down, but when you begin to really think about it, it can be complicated. So the first question is, what is it that I want? The second question, what goals would I like to achieve? Thirdly, what kind of person would I like to become? And then last, why do I want all of these things? What are the benefits they bring? See, the more reasons you can find to pursue something, the higher the motivation you will have to follow through with your actions. And so, for this very reason, ladies, it is vital that you spend time figuring out why you want these goals and the benefits you will derive from achieving them. Now that you know what you want and why, let's go ahead and identify your limiting beliefs. And so, are you ready? Let's go ahead and identify these limiting beliefs. What you need to know about limiting beliefs is this: limiting beliefs don't serve you. So, if it did not serve you last year, it's not going to serve you this year. Here's another thing you need to know about limiting beliefs: limiting beliefs hinder your progress. Limiting beliefs show up and become evident when you confront obstacles and challenges along your journey towards your goals. And then limiting beliefs make it impossible to overcome obstacles and problems. So that's why we need to identify them and eliminate them. And so raise your hand if you've ever found yourself thinking about achieving your goals. And while you were thinking about it, you got a sense of resistance. It started boiling up to the surface. Has that been you? See, if that has been you, I want you to pay attention to it, because the more internal resistance you experience, it is an indicator that limiting beliefs are laying dormant. For instance, you might have a goal to earn $20,000 extra this year. And however, as you're thinking about this goal, you start to feel a little uncertain and uncomfortable. Maybe it triggers thoughts of past failed goals. This is precisely where you will find your limiting beliefs. And these are the beliefs you need to bring into conscious awareness. Say it with me: conscious awareness. I like to tell my clients, if you can't fix it, you won't be able to face it. Or let me say it around: if you won't face it, you can't fix it. Yeah, I had that twisted up. If you can't face it, you can't fix it. And so if you are ready to accelerate your success in your homes, in your communities, and eventually the world, if you are ready to shape and create the joyful life you've always wanted to live, if you are ready to impact your relationships, build trust, and increase your personal productivity, if you are ready to find your purpose and show the world the real you, if you are ready to let go of mistakes and learn to accept yourself fully, if you are ready to build unshakable self esteem that no one else can tear down, then asking and answering these questions about your self sabotaging beliefs is the first place you want to start. And so, the questions that I'm going to share with you, I have used these questions with my clients. And as a result, they have applied for and received jobs that they once felt unqualified for. They have gained confidence to ask for promotions and raises. They have launched new businesses, new ministries. They've authored books, and so much more. They have become better leaders, better women, better friends, better wives, mothers, faith ambassadors, and entrepreneurs. And so there are a total of 25 questions, but don't worry, I'm only going to give you 5 right now. But I did create a special cheat sheet just for you with all 25 questions. And so let me go ahead and give you the 5. The first question that you want to ask yourself is, what resistance am I feeling inside while I talk about achieving this goal? See, that's going to help you identify the limiting belief. The second question: why can't I overcome certain challenges to achieving my goal? Again, this question is going to help you identify your limiting beliefs. Third question: what is holding me back? Question number 4: what specifically is getting in the way? Question number 5: what unhelpful habits am I indulging in? All right, you know what? I got one more I want to give you. Question number 6: how am I thinking about this situation? Now, if you're saying, LaShonda, I did not get an opportunity to write down all 6 of those questions, don't worry, because I have a cheat sheet with all 25. So Now that you've taken the time to reflect on these questions and on the cheat sheet that you will have, here's what you're going to notice. You're going to find insight about your limiting beliefs. You're going to find the specific limiting beliefs that are holding you back right now. You are going to find how these limiting beliefs are preventing you from achieving your desired goals and objectives. And you're going to recognize how these limiting beliefs are literally denying you the opportunity to become the person you want to be. And so, in closing, remember that your limiting beliefs are assumptions you make about reality that are not true in this particular situation. And so, if they don't change, then you don't change. And your goals will always remain out of reach. And so, listen, ladies, here is the link for you to be able to get that cheat sheet. Go to bit.ly/overcome my beliefs. Now, I want you to type it in exactly as you see it because it is case sensitive, okay? And then lastly, if you know that limiting beliefs have been sabotaging you day after day, month after month, year after year, then I want to offer you, the ladies that are participating in this workshop, I want to offer you a complimentary coaching session. All you have to do is go to www.lashondalee.com, answer a few questions, and then submit your day and time. And I look forward to working with you so we can help you get over your limiting beliefs so that you can rewrite your future, reset, refresh, and renew in 2021. It's been my pleasure to be with you. Enjoy the rest of the workshop, and I look forward to connecting with you very soon. Bye-bye.
Yay. Oh my gosh, I love that woman. Yes. I've had the benefit of meeting, I knew Christina a little bit better than Valerie and LaShonda pre-COVID, but I got to know Valerie and LaShonda during COVID, and Trish, as a matter of fact, who's here. And that's been one of the blessings of COVID. I am not as much as Christina, a silver lining person, but I do look for the silver lining in everything. And one of the things is to get to know LaShonda, get to know Valerie has been a huge blessing in my life. So I want to give you, to go with what LaShonda shared, a simple technique that you can apply immediately before you answer those 25 questions. So this is something I learned to change my self-limiting beliefs. I learned it when I switched careers. I got fired. Let me be honest about that. I got fired from a job and I didn't want to go back to my corporate soul sucking job. So I ended up, after doing some soul searching, getting into the wellness industry. And I learned this technique on my journey of working on myself so I could help clients. Because the crazy thing about getting into the wellness industry and becoming a coach is, in order to coach people, you've got to work on yourself first, because you can't help somebody if you're all jacked up. So this technique I learned during that process. I was attending a simple class like today, and that's where I learned this technique. So I want you to think about this morning. I'm assuming most of you spent a tiny bit of time in the mirror looking at yourself. And I want you to think about that this morning. When you got up this morning and you walked into your bathroom, you're wiping the sleep out of your eyes and you're looking at yourself in the mirror. And I want you to think about what your thought process what you were thinking about yourself looking in the mirror. And let's attach it to the words I am. All right. So when you looked in the mirror, what were you thinking? And I know I am tired is one of the most of the common things I hear from people is I am tired. I am old. I am whatever. So think about that. What follow the words for you of I am in the morning? Now, the reason I want you to think about this is that experts say we have about 45,000 thoughts a day. And of the thoughts we have about ourselves, about 70% of them are negative. So when I learned this technique, I was in the wellness industry at the time. I've kind of changed lanes, but the 3 I ams that I had that were negative that I wrote down, because she told us to come up with 3, were I am old, I am weak, and I am ugly. And so what we were taught is to take those I am statements, the negatives, and flip them like positives. Now, if you have positives, write those down too. But I want to teach you how to flip the negatives into positives. So you flip them literally like a coin. So the I am weak was easy because I was in the gym. I was a gym rat's rat. I was doing 15-pound dumbbell curls. I was strong. I crossed out weak and I wrote strong. The I am old also was not that hard. I'm turning 59 in February. I was in my 40s. Much easier to change that thinking. Thank God I did it in my 40s. I knew I was really youthful, so I crossed out old and I wrote youthful. The I am ugly, though, that one was hard. And what she told us is that to change a deep-seated belief, you need inspiration. So here's how I got that belief. When I was about 9 years old, my dad gave me the nickname Slim, Slim. All right. My dad thought he was funny. He was kind of sarcastic. I was the first child of 6. When I popped out of the womb, apparently there was no user manual and it was on the job training. Right. So he called me Slim. He thought he was funny. He was not funny. And I was not Slim. Now, here's the thing. I do not have any ill will towards my father because he was doing the best he could. And I took that nickname and I carried it into my life and I created an entire story around it. So think about those things people called you when you were a child. Are you still attached to them? Because I sure was. So the way she taught us to do this is to think about somebody in your life that sees you in a way that you don't see yourself, someone that compliments you, someone that, gives you accolades and you deny them in your head. You're like, no, not me. Is that a child, one of your children? Is it a spouse? Is it a loved one? Is it a friend? Is it your partner, a sibling? For me, one of my sisters is here. I have 3 sisters. The sister that's here is a twin. Her twin is the baby of the family. I'm the oldest, and they're 18 years younger than me. Her twin, Krista, used to tell me growing up, "You're the most amazing, most beautiful woman in the world, and I want to be just like you. You are the most amazing, most beautiful woman in the world, and I want to be just like you." And I used to deny it. You have no idea. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, on that day, I said, let me look at myself through the eyes of my sister instead of through the lenses that I was looking at that were put on by my father unintentionally. Because I took that Slim nickname and created an entire story of myself and saw an ugly woman in the mirror. I own that. I did that. So I put my sister's lenses on, I crossed out ugly and I wrote beautiful, and I went to work day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. I did this daily practice, I am statements in the mirror. And it took me 3 years to see a beautiful woman in the mirror. 3 years to see a beautiful woman in the mirror. But I did it. 3 years is a big payment to make, right? 3 years, but I called myself ugly for 30. So it was well worth it. So that is my suggestion for you, is that you look at how you talk about yourself in the morning. You definitely get those 25 questions from LaShonda, but tomorrow you can start with 3 or 4 or 5 I am statements. And just know, if they don't immediately change, it may be one of those deep-seated beliefs, and you have to find that inspiration inside yourself. Whose eyes can you look at for yourself? Now, I would love to talk to you if you want to know. That's one of the 3 massive mistakes that brilliant women and brilliant men make. If you'd like to learn the other 2, sorry, I got to remove that. The other 2 mistakes that brilliant women and men make that keep them from their most passionate life, I'd love to spend a few minutes with you on the phone. You can do that by taking your camera and holding it over this QR code. Yes, I know it's fancy, high tech. Or Christina, I think, is going to pop a link in the chat for you where you can just get to my calendar. It might be a little bit easier that way unless you're high tech. And I'd love to spend a few minutes with you talking to you about these other 2 massive mistakes that brilliant women and men make so that you can have the best 2021 and beyond ever. I look forward to talking with you all, and I get the the benefit and the joy of introducing the next speaker. So I'm done. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce Valerie. Valerie Vagoda is a positive psychology coach and speaker, an inspiring author, and a mom. For the past 10 years, Valerie has been using her business and leadership expertise to train and coach business professionals on how they can become more productive and fulfilled in their work and in their lives. Since the outbreak of COVID, Valerie has devoted herself to developing tools and strategies for working women like herself to improve their productivity and well-being. Today, Valerie will be speaking to us about gratitude, one of the many proven positive psychology tools that help people do better and feel better in all areas of their lives. Help me welcome Valerie.
Hey, good morning, all. Good morning. Wow, is this a great lineup or what? Kathy, you rock. LaShonda, so inspiring. I've worked, Kathy and I have presented together before, and every time I hear her speak, I'm inspired. It's really a fabulous thing. And I feel the same way you do, Kathy, about the blessings of having been off the road and having this time to get to know each other. So hello to all of you. I see so many friends and family people and neighbors and some folks I don't know, and I hope to get to know in future times. But let me pull up. I have a little PowerPoint. I have a little, a part of my background in a past life was as an early childhood educator, and so you'll see that I'm a graphics kind of a visual person. So let me see if I can pull this up for you. And
I'm so
give me just a minute. So I'd like to talk to you about gratitude. And I'd like you to keep an open mind, because we hear a lot, be thankful for what we have, be thankful, right? As kids, we were told at the dinner table, eat all of your food because there are other people who don't have this food. Be thankful. Well, what did we know about all the people starving in other parts of the country? All we knew is, I don't like broccoli and I don't want spinach, right? So, but keep an open mind, because gratitude has been proven to be something that increases our optimism, our resilience, and just our energy, our happiness. And I could go on, and I will go on, and I'll tell you more about it. So I'd like to first just tell you a little bit about my background and how I came around to this tool. I am a positive psychology practitioner and coach. I was really, really fortunate about 10 years ago to study with a gentleman named Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar. Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar is a former Harvard professor who had the most popular Harvard course in the history of the university. And that course was his positive psychology course. I was so blessed to be able to study under him. And to put it simply, Tal says, positive psychology is the study of what works. Positive psychology first attracted me because I love that term, positive psychology. Wow, when I think of psychology, I think of pathology. I don't think positive, I think problems. Positive psychology is not here to tell us that our problems are not real, but positive psychology wants to focus on what works and how can we incorporate more of that into our lives, particularly when times are tough. So I want to focus today, and boy, I could talk about so many of these things because I love them. I use them with my coaching clients all the time. I use them with myself. I use them with my daughter. I'll tell you an interesting story later on about her. And I have to remind myself to use them more, right? Because we can know something, we can know what we need to do, and it doesn't always mean that we're going to pull that tool out of our back pocket and use it when we need it. So it's a reminder, it's a process, it's a journey. Let's just acknowledge right up front, let's get the elephant out of the room. Since COVID, stress has really, really increased significantly. And again, I'm not here as a positive psychology practitioner to tell you that everything is rosy. But what I do want to talk about is, so what do we do when times are tough and the stress is high? Interestingly and sort of sadly, we've seen a stark increase in brand new prescriptions for antidepressants, anti-anxiety medicines, anti-insomnia medicines. People who before were not on these things, that because they're just finding it hard to cope, they're turning to these medications. So we have a choice when we're stressed like this to think about the stress, to focus on what's going wrong. That's one side of the coin. We also have a choice to focus on another side of the coin. And I'm going to propose to you that that other side of the coin can be framed as gratitude. Gratitude can be an antidote to our stress. So today we've heard a lot already from LaShonda, from Kathy, about our mindset. And boy, I can't stress enough to you how much what we choose to think about and what we choose to focus on really makes a difference in our day and even in our physiology. I'll show you in a minute that even our health and our immune system is impacted by how we think. So let me tell you a few things. Giving thanks can make you happier. You feel more positive emotions, and it actually can create serotonin and dopamine in our systems. We can get a happy rush. We can get the same chemical that we get from the antidepressants from having gratitude. It allows us to actually relish the good experience. So when we're having gratitude and we're feeling grateful, it's not just in the moment, but when we can recall something that gave us joy, we know we can relive it and we can relish it and we can benefit from it over and over again. As I mentioned, it improves our health. It helps us to deal with adversity, hardships, and it really, really improves our relationships. If we can not only feel grateful, but express that gratitude to people that we care about, it's an amazing experience of having everybody feel better. Besides, if I look at the fact that my partner didn't squeeze the toothpaste tube the way I like it, I can dwell on that. Or he didn't load the dishwasher the way I like it, I can dwell on that. Or I can think about the fact that we just had a really great meal and that's why we have these dishes to put in there. So we can choose what we focus on and it improves every area of our lives. So I'm sure there are some cynics in the room here today. But please, as I said, as I asked, let's keep an open mind and we'll talk more about it. So I mentioned Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar. There's also a group of people out in California at the University of Southern California, and they have done a project where they've determined by research that thankfulness can actually rewire our brain. So if we can start to get into the habit of a gratitude mindset and lens, we actually can start to change the way our brain tends to default. We can rewire our brain. And it's important that we do that intentionally because we all tend to have what's called a negativity bias, which means that as human beings, there's a primitive side of us that's about protecting ourselves. We get defensive. We are looking out for danger. We have that fight or flight syndrome. That's the human condition. If we're at the Savannah Desert, we're going to be looking out for wild animals. We're not going to take the time first to notice the sunset. So it's our choice in these scenes and in these contexts to decide which things we're going to focus on. And the fact is that in our daily lives, we really are not under great threat most of the time. And so it is our job to look beyond the lion and look for the sunsets. So we heard today Kathy mention looking through the eyes of a child or looking through someone else's eyes when you're thinking about your own self-perception. We also can learn a lot from children if we look at things brand new with a fresh set of eyes. what happens is that we take things for granted. We take our everyday conveniences, we take our everyday things for granted until we lose them. And during COVID, some of our daily, just standard things we learned aren't a given anymore. So how can we look at everyday situations, everyday people in our lives, everyday things in our lives with a brand new eye? It all depends on the lens that we use. So we can focus on one side of the coin or the other. We can look at the challenges or we can look at the blessings and the gifts. I'd like to show you a very brief video that's going to show you, it's a great illustration of what would it be like if we woke up one morning and we looked at everything anew. And I'm going to come back to this in just a minute. Let's do this.
I'm alive! I'm alive! Yeah? Oh, yeah! Hey, Christine! You're here too! I love you!
I know.
Dad, what's happening?
Honey, the power works! It's coming, it goes on and off whenever we want! We've got clean water! Oh, that's great, look at that! Ooh, I bet I know what this does! Bring down the glorious water! Ah, shoes. Oh, what do we got here, guys? Food! I love food. A big thing? You gotta have work? Look, listen here. The what?
Dad, be careful.
Oh, I have a car! Did you guys see this?
Yeah, you have a car.
A car!
And don't forget your coffee.
You're the best.
So there you have it. That's what life would be like if we looked at everything with fresh eyes, right? So what would happen if you walked through your home, you walked through your kitchen, and you approached it as if you were seeing it for the first time? What do you notice with fresh eyes? What do you take for granted but maybe would actually marvel at if you think of all of our modern technology and modern appliances? How does your home provide for you? Could you imagine making a list of the things that you found miraculous if you saw them for the first time? So this is what I want to encourage you to do. Open your eyes during the day. Spend some time looking at the things that are in front of you and how can you appreciate them with a new eye. Okay, well, so that's one thing to look around in good times and acknowledge and appreciate. But what about in the tough times? Again, we have to choose our lens. We're in a traffic jam. Dang it, why can't these people drive? Well, that's certainly one way we can approach it. Or we can reframe with a new lens and acknowledge, I have this car. It's going to get me where I need to go despite this traffic. And hey, there's music on that I like, or I get to finish my audio tape that I'm listening to. Well, okay, that might be doable, but what about the partner who left you? That starts to get personal, and that starts to get harder. But if we can look at the fact that that partner had the bravery to leave a situation that wasn't working, we can be grateful. What about that friend who just upset you? This is an opportunity for us to go deeper in our friendship. So I'm glad we had an opportunity for us to have a talk and really figure things out. Oh, and that boss who laid you off. They're forcing you to take advantage of new opportunities. So I want you to really think about how you can think outside of the box. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to mention the pancakes. If you're thanking somebody nearby, Don't just say, oh, I love you because you're wonderful you. Thank them because they made pancakes with your favorite fruit, and that because they gave you a massage last night because you were stressed even though they were tired. Thank them for the things and be as specific as you can, because as we're specific, we feel the gratitude and it's more meaningful to the people we share it with. So speaking of sharing your gratitude, I want to just start to wind down today by talking about the concept of filling each other's bucket. And this was something that I taught my daughter very early on. When we express our gratitude for another person, we're filling their bucket. And when we fill their bucket, their excitement and their feelings of appreciation for our gratitude comes back as goodwill to us. So I tried to really instill this in my daughter, and she was about 5 one night. We went out for dinner, and the waiter came over, and he was an outstanding waiter, no question about it. And when he walked away, my daughter Nina said to me, Mommy, he was really nice. And I said, I know, I agree. He was, Nina. Why don't you tell him that you think so? So he came back, and she shyly said to him, I think you're really nice. You've been really great tonight. And he beamed, and he said, thank you. You made my night. And he walked away, and my daughter Nina turned to me, and she said, Mommy, I think I filled his bucket. And I knew that she had gotten the concept, and she felt just as good about the compliment she gave him as he did about the compliment himself. So where can you share your gratitude? So I want to talk to you about 3 steps to a gratitude practice. And I want to suggest that you start with just one. So the first thing you want to do is see it and name it. See it and name it. When you name it, you're looking for it, right? Look for it, name it. Pause, feel it, name it, feel it, and then share it. So for today, let's start with one simple step. First thing in the morning or last thing in your day, and I suggest you try it first thing in the morning because it sets your mindset right off the bat in the morning. Think about something you're grateful for. Try to be as specific as you can. Try to be genuine about it. Do it especially on those tough days when you wake up with a headache or you're tired or you're cranky or you're under pressure, and write it down. Some people have a gratitude jar. I'm about to open a new office in a gym, and I'm going to have a gratitude jar, and I'm going to encourage everybody at the gym to come and start to fill that gratitude jar. So whether you have that at home, whether you just write it for yourself in a journal, just name something once a day, and that's going to be the start. I also want to invite you to use my pretty new text-in function. If you text on your phone 66866, that's the number to text to, and just in the message section say Coach Val, you can get my gratitude handout. And what it is a wheel of life that'll allow you to really look at 8 different areas in your life and think about the things you're grateful for. If you care to take another step from there are also some suggestions on starting to set some goals for the areas that you know you want to improve. So I want to thank you all. It's been a pleasure this morning, and I'll hand it back to Kathy.
Thank you, Val. Thank you so much. Great tips. And as you can see, we've spent a lot of time together because we both like to start sentences with the words I am. Can I just say my experience of appreciating modern day appliances this week is I am so grateful for hot water because I got to have none for 36 hours. And it sure makes you grateful when you're without it for a little bit of time. Christina Katz is our next speaker, and she has over 25 years of corporate project management experience, learning the hard lessons to help people plan projects, adjust to change, and get along. She led several different software teams through massive changes, managed the conflicts and all the puzzle pieces to shift attitudes and help everyone find the common ground to accept change and succeed as a cohesive team. Over the years, Christina has stretched her own comfort zones to make both personal and professional changes. And now She shares her own lessons and the strategies she has developed along the way. Christina is now known as the Gutsy Pivoter, and she empowers people to confidently make their own next gutsy pivot. Please help me welcome Christina Katz in the house.
Thank you. Thank you. What's your focus this year, this month, next week, or today? Whether it's wanting a new job or a new house or start a business or get the vaccine. Having that focus or goal will help you plan ahead. Now you know the power of overcoming limiting beliefs that LaShonda talked about, the growth mindset and the I am statements from Kathy, and gratitude from Valerie. The next step is to have daily habits and tools that support you to achieve your goals, to help you stay focused. So I'm going to talk and share with you 5 different strategies, what I call gutsy pivot strategies, that I use myself and others use as well to confidently move forward with my dreams, and you can too. So I'm going to show you some of the success that others have also had using these 5 strategies plus more, because we do have many more, and a planner. So that actually brings me to anyone here, raise your hand. Do you use a planner or a journal or to-do lists? A notebook? Yes. I don't know what I would do without notebooks. So I use a planner and I use it every day, and I put several things in it. And right off the bat, every morning I start off, and Valerie talked about this, gratitude. And I'm bringing it up to reinforce that gratitude is so important, because that way you start your day off by appreciating what is around. And I didn't know that Valerie did this, but I do the same thing. I am grateful for. It's a prompt, and I do 5 every day. And sometimes I have to think about that 5th one. So every day I am grateful for. So again, I'm reinforcing what Valerie was saying, because it's just so important to appreciate. Now, the next strategies help me overcome the overwhelm. Raise your hand if you feel like life is chaotic these days. You can't quite get your foot on the target. I understand. I feel that way too from time to time. And so my planner really helps me get focused and stay focused so I can get things done. And one of the things that I use is a technique to plan my days called 80-10-10. 80-10-10. So think about it as the bell curve. We all know about a bell curve. 80% of our day, and think of this as your waking hours. So we'll just use an easy number. So say you're awake for 10 hours. Well, 80% of your day is for the daily operations, the routine, taking care, showers, family, kids, friends, work, doing those daily operations and routine. But let's talk about the other 10 and 10. 10% we really need to use for us, that downtime, that whether it's yoga or meditating or vegging out in front of the TV, it's okay to give ourselves permission to take that downtime. And then to move our life forward, we have that other 10%, which you can use for your dreams. And even if that's only 1 hour a day, 45 minutes a day, something that moves you forward toward your dreams. Now, with the gutsy pivot strategies, I like to refer to these as downtime is grace. Give ourselves grace to take care of ourselves. And the routine, the 80% routine, we have to do that stuff. That just takes grit. Just do it, because it's got to get done. And then for our dream, that extra 10% there, for our dreams, it takes gumption. It takes guts to feel the fear and do it anyway. Like Susan Jeffers says, feel that fear, have those guts and just do it an hour a day, one task a day to help move us forward toward our dreams. So that takes us to strategy number 2, key tasks. In my planner, I have a list of the key tasks that I need to do each day. And I try to have at least one task that is for moving my life forward, that extra 10%. And then have the other tasks for things that you have to get done, because we forget, I can't remember everything. And so I've got to write it down. And when I was going to leave the corporate world, I started with one task per week that would push me toward my goal of leaving the corporate world and starting my own business. I wanted it to be reasonable. Well, I got used to doing that. So then I increased it to 2 tasks per week, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, so that I was working on at least one task every day for my future. So I encourage you to do that. Keep it reasonable, because that helps to protect your confidence. And this way, you'll always have that mindset of abundance. It will also help you to stay motivated and stay focused every day. So key tasks, jot them down in your notebook or in your planner. So you don't have to keep it up here. It's right there to remind you to do it. Now let's move to daily strategy number 3. In Gutsy Pivot Strategies, I recommend to track your wins and accomplishments of the day. As many as you can, and have the time to jot down, because when you look at the end of the day, you may have that feeling, I didn't get everything done that I wanted to get done. But when you look back at your wins, your accomplishments, you can say, oh my gosh, I did get a lot done. I'm not slacking. I got things done. I helped this person. I helped that person. So this way, you know that you were busy, that you were getting things done. That helps protect our confidence as well. Rebecca uses the planner. We have a Gutsy Pivot planner, and she uses it. And she says that she likes reviewing her gratitudes, her accomplishments, and her to-dos. It helps her feel like she's keeping everything in perspective with her values. And as a client, I help her with identifying her goals in the different categories and then attaching them to the values. Because when we understand our values, that actually helps us with time management and prioritization techniques. Because if it's very valuable to us, then we know that the prioritization for it is even higher. So that's just some of the things that I do with my clients, and it helps her. So now this leads us to daily strategy number 4, check-in and reflection. Patty says that she loves the reflections at the end of the day, that it's fun to reflect on those wins. When you do that, it really helps you to know that you got things done. Now, part of the reflection is also what we call a check-in, and that has 3 questions to ask at the end of your day as you reflect on the day. The first one is, what worked? The second one is, what was challenging? And the third one is, what can I do differently next time? Think of this as, for instance, recently I met a deadline. I finished a blog. So it worked well. I finished it. And then for the challenges column, well, I didn't feel like writing that day. So I jotted that down. And then for the do differently, well, that could be start the blog earlier so I'm not right up on that deadline when I didn't feel like writing. This way I know that the next time I have a deadline coming up, okay, I'm going to start on it sooner so I don't end up in the same situation. It's these kinds of check-ins and reflections that help us increase our confidence, prove that things are getting done, and proof of those accomplishments toward bigger goals. And we're making progress to improve not only ourselves, but our actions and what we are doing. So this last strategy, because of the time, I don't have a whole lot of time to share with you, but this one is really important, and that is community. Community. Jamie says, as always, I love, love, love. I love that because it's so happy. I love, 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 love. Who supported me at the end of the day? And that is one of the things that we track in the Gutsy Pivot Planner, is who supported me today. And it helps you to look back. If you flip through the pages, you can see those people that are frequently supporting you. I have several friends that I can call and talk, during those hard times, and to celebrate successes. Community is so important. And when I was younger, I thought I had to do everything on my own. And I didn't realize the value of community. And now I do. I guess age does have wisdom, right? So we started an online community of people who are like-minded, who want to achieve in their lives, and who are gutsy. And we support each other. We call it the GPP Tribe. And you can join us too if you want. If you have a tribe of your own, awesome. But if you want to be part of another one that has a lot of gutsy pivoters involved, then feel free to join us. Community helps us through the hard times, achieve and celebrate the successes too. So these are the 5 daily strategies that I reviewed for another chance to jot those down. I know I'm going fast. To help you plan your days, to help you have that 80-10-10, some time for you, grace. Do the grit to get through that 80% of your day, and then 10% of the day for your future, for your goals. If you are interested in more of these strategies, like I said, have many more, then here is the tiny URL to Gutsy Strategies. And Kathy's going to put in the chat a link to it, so you can just click on it. And you can sign up to get this. You will immediately get an email back with this, so you have it. It has some of the strategies I talked about today, and it has more. And then with your email, I can let you know about other things that are coming up. Patty says that the planner and these strategies are helping her cope with the craziness in the world right now. Hey, we need tools, we need strategies to help us every single day. We have LaShonda and Kathy both talked about attitude. Valerie talked about gratitude. And I gave you tools and strategies to help you plan your day and keep an eye on the ball, keep an eye on your goals. You can start using these 5 strategies and more right away. They're easy to use right away. And we have a 5-day challenge coming up the first week in February. So if you would like to learn some more of these Gutsy Pivot strategies and be part of our community, then let me know. Sign up for the email so that I will send out the announcement to you. Also, if you want more information on our Gutsy Pivot Planner, and I do offer to you a 30-minute, completely free of charge, coaching session to talk about your specific needs. Contact me directly. So here I have my information, the email, the website, and Kathy put in the chat the link to the Gutsy Pivot strategy. So get yourself a tool. Use these strategies. They will help you navigate your life this year. Kathy, back to you.
Awesome job. Thank you, Christina. She's like the accountability person. So, and sometimes when she calls me, I'm like, oh God, do I really want to tell her I haven't done that yet? Voicemail. Just kidding.
Now I know.
Direct to voicemail. So thank you, Christina, Valerie, and I'll definitely pass on our thanks to LaShonda. I love, we did go over time. Shocking that we did, but we'd love to hear from you, either verbally or you can put in the chat what some of the biggest takeaways you got from today were, what your feelings were on today. This is our first time getting together as a group in this format. We do a bunch of other stuff together, but not like this with like real live people in front of us. So would anybody like to unmute and just give us some feedback or tell us what you took away, or you can type it in the chats. By the way, if you want those links too, you should be able to save those chats. I saw Kathy she's unmuted. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, good morning. So we do some of the same strategies, but I loved one key takeaway for myself was that planning your day forward, because we always talk about planning our future forward. I love that 10% of, hey, let's get out of the box in that comfort zone that we like to stay on. And what can I do to go forward, not just the daily tasks. So really love that.
Yeah. And I know Kathy really well, and she's an entrepreneur and she's got a family, and she does so much. I'm one of her clients, and I know she gives so much. So it's great to get that reminder to take care of yourself too, so you can give more. So I love that.
Thank you, Kathy. And definitely the gratitude is always great to thank people for just being in your life. I mean, at the end of the day, the community is a big thing.
Yeah.
Especially these days.
Yes, it is. It is. I saw my sister says, Teresa, I'm feeling inspired and motivated. So many great ideas. Ellie loved the 10% also. Michelle Mercier, who we know kind of through our other world. Thank you, LaShonda, Valerie, Kathy, and Christina. This was wonderful. What a great way to start the weekend. You are fabulous for sure. And so is she. Anybody else want to say something? I know we got, okay, there we go. Carol, what do you got?
I appreciated the seminar this morning. I'm part of Christina's tribe with the Gutsy Pivoters, and Kathy, you've spoken to us before, but just hearing it all reiterated, maybe different approaches of how to say it, the concepts that I've learned from Christina and you, and then also hearing LaShonda and Kathy talking about it and gratitude. It's just nice to hear it all encapsulated and brought together, and it's reinforcing that I'm on the right path with what I'm doing with Christina's group and her strategies and the suggestions you made to us as well. So I appreciate the four of you coming together on this and giving your time and expertise to us.
Thanks, Carol. And it is great to see you again. And actually, my friend Zen, she had, I've been talking about these I am statement strategies for a long time. And she even said that she's been trying to put them back into practice again. So maybe it was just a good time. She's a busy woman in the wellness world too. And maybe it's just a good time, a good reminder, right, Zen? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else wanna?
Thanks, Carol.
It's funny because I know, Colin, I'm like, I know all of you are very talkative. So Colin, what do you got for us? A man's perspective.
As you can see, I typed in verbalizing my appreciation. So I thought I'd better appreciate it actually verbally. I want to thank you for doing today. Obviously, the person who thinks he knows it all is always open to finding out. I've forgotten a lot of stuff and can still learn things. So it's always good to learn from those you think you can't learn from and think you know it all. So it's always good to keep learning, keep revising, keep relearning maybe. But in my case, I think old age is making me forget more than I'm learning, possibly. So
you're seasoned, Colin, not old. You're seasoned.
Yeah, seasonings. Definitely.
Well, thanks for being here, Colin. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Yes, Christina. I knew Christina was going to say something. This is my friend Christina on the other side of the world.
Yeah, here I am from the future because I'm in Romania and it's evening time here. So I really enjoyed this. This was awesome. And congratulations for putting together such an effective message, and all these topics all in one came to me perfectly in an hour or so. I really, really appreciate and enjoy all this. Thank you, lady.
You're so welcome, Christina. Thanks for, I'm glad it wasn't too late at night for you to join us. Anyone else? Joyce. Yes, Joyce. Hello. Oh, you're muted. I'm going to unmute you. There you go.
Okay. I just thought it was great to see each of you so passionate about what you're talking about. It just means so much more than reading it in a book. And it's just, everyone came up with something that is a takeaway. So I'm going to start I am.
Nice.
And then keep track of everything I'm doing, which I've always done, but I'll be more meticulous about it.
Awesome.
And gratitude.
Yeah.
It's all about being thankful for what we have and where we are. And I hear people talk and I say, you know, just take your forefinger, wiggle it, and think what a miracle it is to be able to do it. But it was great today. Thank you, ladies, very much.
Welcome. Yeah. And I hope that not only do you like sit here and go, okay, these are some great suggestions, but something changes for you and you take just one tiny little action. It doesn't take much. I mean, those I am statements for me, I learned them more than 10 years ago. And I literally did see an ugly woman in the mirror. I'm not lying to you. And it did take a while. And now, you know, I don't care that I put the COVID-19 pounds on. I know that I'm still hot and beautiful, but it's because I changed my mindset, you know, because I really did change what I saw in the mirror. And so all these techniques, you know, each of us have had different life experiences, and we're hoping that one of our viewpoints and one of our ideas and strategies can be that one you take away, and it has that same impact on you that each of us have found in our own lives. You know, that's why we love sharing this. So we do appreciate you guys being here. I don't want to cut anybody off. If anybody else wants to speak up and say anything, if not, I just want to say thank you for being here in Las Vegas time, 8 a.m. Actually, probably was a good time because you get your day started here. And for those of you on the East Coast, you know, and beyond, later in the day, you had to like stop what you were doing to show up. So we do appreciate each of you being here and, you know, sharing your morning or midday with us. And we hope to do some more of these. If you have any questions, you can download those chats. I'll send a follow-up email with all the links and everything in there, our contact information. And we wish you all the very best in life in 2021. And we look forward to talking to you soon. I want to thank Christina and Valerie and LaShonda for, you know, supporting this effort.